Da da da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. There was a little bit there. There was a little bit left over. I said, all you need, Cindy, is a shower. Go have a shower and right, put on your pajamas. And instead, I put on my 7-year-old tiki cup vintage Hawaiian dress, and I feel 100 times better sitting here with a fresh cup of coffee, doing our live. We're picking our 50th, you guys, 50th powerful word this week. We've been at this for a year, and what a I'm gonna say insightful year because it has been quite insightful. And I think, no matter what I would have filled this year up, I know I would have made movement. The surprise was that the movement came from this little project that I kind of put together on the fly, thinking it would add content to my brand, give us something to talk about, take the pressure off of me when it's time to do my live show, because quite often I do come into my lives on the fly without a topic of conversation, and having this little project of right, just turn my, you don't need to know what I'm watching here, not like it's anything that you couldn't know that I'm watching. I'm very diverse in my suggestions. I don't watch my content by subscribed videos. I do subscribe from well, quite a few, I would think, content creators out there. But I allow YouTube and Google to direct me into what kind of content I should be watching. And there is a diversity in that. And I fully delve into that diversity because I know that I can easily be, dissuade from whatever I'm doing by something that catches my attention out of the corner of my eye. I am notorious for that, but that's okay. I'm making that movement anyway, and I understand that's going to trip me up here and there. And that's all it's going to do is trip me up because I'm just going to stand up, brush my knees off, and I'm just going to carry on, right? Knowing, even despite that, I do have limitations, and some of these limitations may linger with me for the rest of my life, and it will have to be something that I will have to adapt and conquer. I will have to, in that repetitiveness, make something that's uncomfortable, something bearable, possibly even something tolerable and enjoyable. You never know until you put that effort in. You know, Yesterday we were talking about that effort and that quote here. We don't do stuff, right? Because we don't think we can do stuff, right? We don't do things because we don't think we can. And I was just thinking about that before I went live today. I didn't get much done. It's my first day off. I felt kind of zapped. Usually me and my sister go out on Mondays, or I go over to her place on Mondays, and we get stuff done. Right, I phoned her this morning. I said, right, we got a busy day on Wednesday. Let's just put it all into the same pot and take a relaxation day today." But being the person that I am, right? I'm making movement no matter what. But we talk about that Mogwire, like, oh, it just, right? I managed to get the cat taken care of. I managed to get a few dishes done, right? I managed to take in some lessons, but I didn't do much. And I didn't do much because I didn't think I could, because I know I could have, right? right? I know I could have drummed up that energy and got my butt in gear and really, right? I got 2 loads of laundry, floors that need to be swept and washed. I have a trip next month. I get to say next month now. Isn't that fantastic? I got a trip next month that I can be working on, and I went into it a little bit today, but all I'm doing is looking at my campsites and wishing I was there. I want to be able to set that itinerary, right? The road itinerary is done. The accommodations are done for each and every night. The vehicle, though I don't know what vehicle technically I'll be getting for my trip, is going to be a nice vehicle. We've taken care of that too. We're working on gas money. Coffees I don't have to worry about because I've been racking up points on my coffee card. So I'm kind of expecting that the coffees will be free pretty much this entire trip. The cost of the vehicle has gone down, right? Fall's coming in, people aren't renting in summer, so they bring the price down by $100. So I'm not going to take that $100 off of my bill because I allotted that money for that vehicle. I'm going to take an extra day with that vehicle just in case I want to do some grocery shopping, running around, maybe some thrifting with my sister before I return the vehicle, right? Because I like to give it a car wash and a little bit of a vacuum. Right? Usually I'm pretty tidy. It doesn't really need it. And I line the back of the vehicle always with the blanket so there's no tree twigs and stuff clinging to the fabric of the car, making it impossible to clean up, right? There was lots that I could have done today, but I chose. I chose to flake out and take in a few lessons. And then I come to realize that, if I was going to take a day off and relax and unwind and take care of myself and pamper myself, today would have been a good day to do it. I didn't realize that it was a full moon. It's supposed to be a full moon, but I'm looking at my weather channel now and showing a half moon. Maybe it's a new moon. Maybe it's a new moon that we're having today. Something's going on. And I just said to myself, that's why I'm taking the day off. That's why I'm not doing stuff. So there's more than one reason why we don't do stuff, right? We don't think we can. We're afraid. We're afraid. There's one there, right? We don't do stuff because we're just kind of blah, right? Kind of like the day that I had today, just blah, right? But the day is done now. I am refreshed. The few things that I was able to accomplish, I'm very surprised that I got that done because I really didn't feel like doing it. But sometimes, it is those feelings of guilt and shame and knowing that you could have gotten something done and you didn't. And in doing that, we get stuff done just to say, we did it, right? We didn't fail ourselves. Okay, you guys, we are picking our 50th powerful word tonight. We'll work with it all week long. We won't redo any words. So if we hit a word that we've done already, I'm just going to go straight up to the next word, and that will be our 50th word. A year, people. This has been truly interesting, and we're not done yet. This is just a phase, and there are changes. There's constant changes, and I need those changes to happen because those changes are me starting up the assembly line, right? That's WD4ing all those mechanical parts, checking to make sure everything's in gear so that we can fire up in whatever we're going to be firing up in next. But for now, let's get these 54 words done. We are on word number 50, you guys. Here we go. The word, we're just going to spend a few minutes. First perspective that comes to my mind. And that's what we're going to work with, you guys. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Here's a good word. I'm glad this word made it to my 50 my 54 words. My 50th word, you guys, is perseverance. So guess what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about never giving up. Never giving up. You're going to hear me talk about my brand for a few minutes. I know we talked about it this week, but getting this word perseverance and having my first perspective that comes to my mind, right, in not giving up, was in the wanting to give up on my channel. Same idea. I could have done something, right? But I didn't know what to do, right? I didn't think I can, and that's a good example of another reason. I didn't think I could do it, and I was looking for help out there, right? I was looking for YouTube brand managers. I was looking for a little bit of motivation and inspiration, even though I didn't really understand what motivation and inspiration was. And I happened onto some marketers and some mindset teachers and YouTube creators and YouTube management, and right in that marketing realm that I found to be so interesting because my YouTube channel, and I found the analytical, the background part of what I do, right, in making videos super interesting, right? I knew I couldn't explore abandoned farms and abandoned houses and one-room schoolhouses and farm fields, right? I was going to end up in the bottom of a well or falling through a rotten floor or have a whole building fall on my head eventually, right? Eventually. So I knew there was going to be a pivot. I knew right away there was going to be a pivot, right? These are lessons that I picked up along the way. My only chance was to switch things up. But by that time, I had already gotten a few mindset lessons under the belt. And, not knowing the direction to go in, but wanting to have content for my channel, I started the mindset, right? I started talking about my little bit of a journey that I was on, my experiences, what I come to understand because I didn't realize it at the time, my very dynamic family and my very interesting, scary, unique upbringing. And I thought, right? I knew we were different, right? But I just thought, I don't know what I thought. I don't think I thought too much, in all honesty. Even if those lessons had come across my path 100-fold in my younger years, I didn't pick up on any of them. I was a total blank. And yet, both my parents were solid in what they believed in, right? My father was very spiritual. My mother was very religious. Don't ask, right? And that relationship created me. And somehow I got it in my head that I should be sharing this story of me in between the outdoor adventures or adding content to my brand. This is how I'm thinking, right? I'm not losing my brand. I'm not giving up. I'm going to find another way. I'm going to adapt and conquer, right? And we're going to expand because I'm combining, right? Just like the lessons. And I trusted where those lessons came from. And so I put it to work, and sure enough, right? And I was failing in 2017. That's when I first surfaced, gasping for air, looking for any floating log to hold on to keep myself afloat. I did. No idea how I possibly did that. But one thing I did know, I wasn't giving up. And I didn't give up. And I will not give up in my brand, right? And it's not because I put so much effort into it. It's because I put so much effort into it. Because it's a part of me now, right? It's a part of my life. It's a part of the movement that I didn't realize that I would be creating, right? Even if that movement only has a member of one, myself, all I could do was just get cracking at it, right? Never giving up. 62 years old, I'll be 63 years old, right? Just a few years from retirement. And I'm giving it a shot. And am I new to this game? I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. And it depends on what part of me, right? You're asking, because there are many parts of me. And this isn't just Cindy's story because of the physicality of it, because of, I don't know, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, but I think it's more like right, combined. It is in that, right? And I understand not everybody gets to have that relationship in this lifetime with themselves, but some of us do, right? Some of us do. But why don't we? Because we don't think we can, right? We don't think we can. Doesn't necessarily have to be scary. Mind you, there have been scary moments, to be honest with. But I wrote that out. I adapted and conquered, right? I rode those waves. And I'm proud that I did that because I'm out of it there. And if I have to ride those waves again, I tell you, right? I'm going to be riding those waves with one leg, carrying somebody on my shoulder with a 40-foot wave tunnel over top of me. And I'm going to master it, right? Because I've practiced it. I've earned that badge that makes it easy now. That I put that work so that problem is not going to come across my path anymore. It makes it so that this idea of never giving up, not so scary, not so hard, not so unbelievable, and not so impossible, right? And that's the truth. But that came from the action. That came from taking in the lessons, and right. And even though I didn't realize those lessons were the lessons that I would need to get my butt in gear, I did it anyway. Just in the optimistic idea that if I never give up, if I just keep showing up, right? Just keep showing up, I can't fail, right? I'll beat this. I'll win this. I'll crack this, right? But when I do, right, I better have a plan in store for the next challenge, or that challenge will be picked for me 100%. Our 50th word this week, you guys, is perseverance. And I wanted to look at that word, perseverance, and never giving up. For those of you who haven't hung out with me for any length of time, I'm not new to YouTube. I've been at this on YouTube for 10 years. This is going to be my 10-year anniversary this year. So I know what I'm talking about when I talk about perseverance. Running a YouTube channel, right? It's not super difficult, but it does take learning, and it takes accountability and responsibility. But most of all, it takes that truth that you can't give up. There's no giving up on this. You get yourself to the point where, right? I've got people who've been following my content for years, right? They come in and hang out with me. They depend that I'm going to show up now, right? So it's just not my butt on the line, right? I've built the trust up of others who are putting their faith in me, right? Maybe just in spectator mode, but, right? Me, 100% too. I want to see the evidence. I want to see the evidence. And I trust that evidence will be undeniable when it comes across my path, right? And if I show up fresh like a loaf of bread, you'll get to be an experiencer in that too, right? And maybe you'll want to come along for that ride. Everybody, we got this word perseverance. We'll come at it a little bit differently tomorrow, maybe in the idea of lessons, this, right? Because lessons are important when it comes to perseverance. Or maybe we should look at it in the influence, because, you know, perseverance is something that we are inspired by others, right? And when we see other people being able to do those things that we aspire to do, right? We do keep going, don't we? But I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow. You guys, that's my good cheer. Have a great night. Bye bye.